Hi traders, we're going to talk about a candlestick pattern here that I don't think is talked about enough. And it can give you a lot of insight into the past and more importantly, the future of how much the market actually respects a certain candle. So the subject we're talking about here is encompassing bars. And we just have a random ES chart here. If you can open this up on literally almost any chart, and you're going to find 20, 30 examples in 5 minutes. So an encompassing bar is when a bar basically overshadows bars in front of or behind it, making them somewhat irrelevant. I'll highlight a few examples here. So looking from left to right, we see this large candlestick encompasses the one prior to it. We see this large one. No, the next one does break it. Let's look at another big example of this. You'll see this a lot with bars like this, like long, big candlesticks, kind of taking out all the information before it or after it. You'll see one really key example of this candlestick on the left here that encompasses all the way up till we start getting a bit more market movement here. So what are encompassing candlesticks? Well, an encompassing candlestick is when one candlestick's total height basically overshadows any bars directly prior or directly post of it, before or after it. Now you have to ask yourself, why is this important? The reasons it's important is, market psychology. Now I know a lot of you traders think like, psychology, that's not really 100% my thing. I'm more of a technicalist guy. But as traders, we have to realize that we wear many different hats. We have to wear the data analyst hat. We have to wear the technicals hat. We have to wear the psychology hat. I mean, we do so much psychology in technical trading that I swear we're wearing tweed vests sometimes. The psychology behind a market is what drives price movement. Psychology, it's basic human psychology here. We're talking, greed, envy, fear. Those are like the big drivers that we see in markets because, there's envy when you see a market rocketing up in a direction you thought it was, so you want to get in so that people pile on. Or there's greed when people have the market moving in their direction, but they don't want to remove their trade on the market because they think, I can get a few more points, a few more ticks out of this, and I can make a few more bucks. And so this is definitely a market psychology thing. So when we have 3 examples on here. We'll look at the one in the middle here, the second one. Now the second one, we're looking backwards in the market, so it's not quite as useful to us. But what we see is the fact that we have a high, quite a tall candlestick here, and it encompasses all of this data prior. All of these candlesticks are completely contained within this one candlestick, between the highest high and the lowest low of this candlestick. So with that, we can take every one of these bars and essentially give them a lesser weight to how much they're contributing to this chart. Now, more importantly, you'll see that when we move forward in the market here, and we have this example here. So we have quite a high candlestick, quite a tall candlestick here. And what it does is it encompasses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other candlesticks. Now that is incredibly important, especially as the market's developing, because we can just take a look and say, everything that happened within these like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candlesticks. Right now we're on a 60-minute chart. So that's 5 hours of trading. Now, there might have been after hours or a whole host of reasons, but we have to take into account the fact that one candlestick, that one chart pattern candlestick had enough, it moved a great enough distance that it was able to encompass multiple other candlesticks. And you'll see this move particularly often when you'll get hard market movements. And we don't quite see it here, but you almost see the remnants of it. Now we look at this extremely tall candlestick here in this market. And what we see is the movement after, the market can shoot back up through it. It actually ends up breaking it. But a lot of the movement after these breaks is kind of lackluster, because everything that happens until the new high is broken past this candlestick or past the encompassing candlestick is not really much news. If we take, for instance, and say that this candlestick, this red candlestick, and we didn't get the slight tiny market break here above it, then all of this trading that's happening post this candlestick it's kind of old news. The market has recently moved through that area. There's nothing new really happening. We know that there are both buyers and sellers all in that area, and it's not as relevant. So all of the bars after an encompassing candlestick are just not as relevant. We have to take them with, say, a grain of salt and just be like, well, obviously the market can move within this region. So what really are we getting out of these candlesticks? Are the highs being made within this range as significant? I would say not. And I hope that gave you a little bit of insight into encompassing candlestick patterns.